someone who does have something to say and is very passionate. One, Aaron Rodgers. Good transition right there. If you didn't watch on Pat McAfee, every Tuesday, make sure you check those interviews out. He gives free press to anyone in the media. If you watch football, I just like watch Pat McAfee every day now because I'm like, why would I watch any other mainstream media over him? And then you have people like Colin Cowherd's like, well, Pat McAfee's not a real journalist. And then I saw someone like Emmanuel Acho. He was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers doesn't talk to real people in the media. All he does is go on Pat McAfee, who doesn't ask him real questions. Like, dude, why would he talk to anyone in the media at this point?
They all have agendas. They're all out to. If he got interviewed by any of them, they're gonna just ask him about the COVID nonsense.
Plus, Pat McAfee pulls way more viewers than any sports show right now. He's the most powerful person in media. Just signed a $120 million deal with FanDuel, which that's just an endorsement deal to keep doing his show. That's one endorsement. Like $120 million. That's a good contract for most people who play football, but no.
That's got to be more than he made in his entire football career because he was a punter.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's the best person at playing dumb so he doesn't get involved in any agendas, and he just runs circles around the media, and he's a very underrated interviewer. Like
he's amazing because he'll ask a tough question, but he'll play a dumb card where he's like, oh well, maybe but he answers it very wisely. He's smarter than a lot of he plays the dumb card because when you play the dumb card, you're able to sneak past some intelligence behind those who are like, oh, this is just an idiot. Yeah. But realistically, he's running circles around you because you lower your expectations.
Yeah, he just signed a $120 million endorsement deal, which is pretty much Stephen A's actual contract. He got paid more in one endorsement deal than ESPN contract pays him with contract pays Stephen A. Smith, who's the most powerful voice in corporate media. But Pat McAfee, it's like way bigger at this point. I mean, even Bill Burr listens to his show.
Yeah, and plus he pulls he got Bill Burr. Obviously, he has Aaron Rodgers. He got JJ Redick. And I know there's more. I know that.
Al Michaels.
He just had Charles Barkley on too.
Yeah, I mean,
Charles Barkley was like, "I like your show," and he was just he was talking.
Al Michaels said he likes Pat McAfee's show over anyone else. He said he's a regular fan, and Al Michaels is pretty old. Like, he's drawing an older audience and a younger audience too, and it's like, I don't think anyone should be trying to diss him in media. Like, ESPN really fucked up when they realized it, when they banned their people from going on there. They're like, oh, Pat pulls a ton of people. I'm like, guys, you should have had him and Rex Ryan be doing Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
like, why is that not happening?
And then, I mean, we could go all into ESPN about how they're at the moment currently fumbling the Manning cast. Like, why is it not on every single week? What is with their guests are usually pretty good. At least it was in the beginning of the season, but
now Amazon's trying to acquire it as well.
Yeah, so ESPN is going to ruin the Manning cast, which is the most successful broadcast outside of any sort of documentaries they've made. Like, actual TV shows, that's the most successful they've done in the last probably 5 or 6 years minimum. I mean, First Take, they ruined First Take. Every other show nobody watches. Nobody watches Get Up. Get Up sucks. So basically, their call to grace now is their documentaries. Everything else that they've made sucks. They had the Manning cast. Now the Manning cast is probably going to go to Amazon, and it's going to be so much better on Amazon.
Because it's going to be uncensored as well.
It's not going to be worrying about them saying this or saying that. It's like, no, that is what gets people to watch your show. Because I remember, I think it was the first episode, I didn't even know about I actually didn't know about the Manning cast. It slipped by my radar. So I watched it with Steve Levy and Louis Riddick and all those other dudes that do the Monday night game. And you're like, yo, that Manning cast was pretty dope. I'm like, oh, the Manning cast. And then the next week I watched it. I'm like, why did I ever watch anything else?
Yeah, no, I have to watch their actual crew with the sound off. It's terrible. I mean, Disney owns ESPN. That's why you can't upset the mouse, which is why they got rid of Paul Pierce literally just for partying. I mean, he's a retired NBA player, and you're going to fire him for smoking weed and drinking on video. Like, that's pretty pathetic. Yeah. Like, Paul Pierce was trying to get fired, but, why do you care what your employees do in their off time? I mean, that would bring more eyes to your show. Like, oh, did you see what Paul Pierce did? Can't wait to see what he's going to say on ESPN now. They're just like, nah, you're out of here. Like, that's really dumb. Really, the only good football analyst they have is Rex Ryan at this point.
Yeah.
He's still on there making feet jokes.
Yeah, and we can also... There's they have two people that have been on ESPN for, I don't know, 30 years minimum. Scott Van Pelt, who's an icon in his own right, and the icon, Chris Berman. Chris Berman literally invented ESPN. He like pretty much invented, I wouldn't say invented, but he was the first like superstar.
That was Chris Berman.
Yeah. And then all of his taglines, like Chris Berman now is left with 3 minutes on Monday Night Football. And then he has to immediately sponsor his show with Booger McFarlane. He's like, oh, go ahead and watch me with Booger McFarlane. It's like you put one of the greatest sports talk hosts, personalities in the history of sports talk history.
With Chris Berman or with Booger
McFarlane, who's one of the worst. It's like, why not with Steve? Even if with Stephen A would be better. Because Stephen A is an all-time great. Like, Chris Berman deserves so much better than ESPN. But he's so old now that he can't leave because he's been there since the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
So it's like he has 3 minutes on Monday night. That's his call to grace. And then a show that's on ESPN Plus, which nobody has. Look at the numbers. And you're left with Booger. That's the reason why I want to get ESPN Plus is because Chris Berman is with Booger McFarlane.
Like, no. Even if it was with Dan Orlovsky, it'd still be better.
Yeah.
As bad as Dan Orlovsky is. As long as it's not like Brian Clark or someone like that, because Ryan Clark is pretty over dramatic.
Yeah.
On Get Up. But yeah, that was long-winded. But Vikings at Packers, it's just because most of these games really don't matter after this. So Vikings at Packers. Packers handle business. Aaron Rodgers, COVID cowboy himself.
Yeah.
Dr. Joe Rogan, potentially creating the greatest quarterback in the NFL. Best quarterback in the league right now. Front runner for MVP. Aaron Rodgers takes care of it at home. 34-20 prevails over the Vikings, getting revenge. -6.5. Definitely pick the Packers to cover that.
You think so? I think that for some reason I feel like the Packers and Vikings games are always really close. And it's a division game. That's the only reason why I would pick the Vikings to cover the spread. But I'm not going to pick the Packers to lose this game because we got the COVID cowboy who's been incredibly, like, for some reason has been super polarizing this year, which we just went on a winded rant about how awful corporate media is. So we're a little, we stand on our positions there. But as far as just like the narrative around him, like he has played his best football of his top 5 quarterback Hall of Fame career. He's on pace to get the 1 seed. He outside of that Saints game, 33 touchdowns to 2 picks. Like
33-2. How crazy is that?
Like,
and then we were talking about earlier Aaron Rodgers versus Peyton Manning, who we think is better overall player. I was like, it's definitely Aaron Rodgers, just because of the simple fact that Aaron Rodgers has only thrown 93 interceptions in his career. And then how many picks did you say Peyton Manning threw in his first 5?
In his rookie contract, he had 138 touchdowns to 100 picks.
100 picks in his first 5 years. And Aaron Rodgers has played, I don't know, 17 years. And he's only thrown 93. That's insane.
And keep in mind that he had over 10 interceptions in the 2 of his 3 first years.
Yeah.
And then from there, he's never had more than 10 interceptions.
It's like 7, 4, 2, 3. Like he'd win a few years where he only had 3 picks.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 4 picks this year. And 2 of them came against the Saints in week 1 where he looked awful.
And it's not like lack for difficult throws either. Because did you see the throw he had where it had like a curve where he threw it in a double coverage and it like curved back into the Valdez-Scantling's arms?
No, honestly, the only thing that's holding Aaron Rodgers' resume back is his lack of Super Bowl appearances and lack of Super Bowl wins. He only needs 1 more, and I think he's already in a top 5 conversation.
I think he's number 2.
You think he's number 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to really look down at all the great quarterbacks that have played in the NFL, but we're going to do that at the end after this season. But because Aaron Rodgers, talent-wise, is easily a top 5 quarterback all time. And this year, he's the undisputed MVP.
Yeah, I think he goes at home, gets the number 1 seed, and I think he wins the Super Bowl in LA. All the lights on him, all eyes on him. I think it's Aaron Rodgers' year, wins the Super Bowl, MVP, boom, on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. Dude, imagine the narrative because of all the shit that's happened with the COVID nonsense with his vaccines that, you know, he gets fined and then he has COVID. He has different sorts of methods of being vaccinated. So
I think that's fueling him this season. I think he's actually legitimately pissed off. He's like, wait, I have 2 allergies. Like, I have allergies to the mRNA vaccines so far this year. And it's like, I can't get 2 of them. And then the other one got pulled and it's unreliable. And they've already said it does nothing against the variants, which are the dominant strains right now. So he's like, wait, I've talked to doctors as well. It's not like I'm making my own decisions just by talking to Joe Rogan, who also talks to doctors. It's not like they're coming up with this position on their own. So he's just like, I made the best decision for my body. Move on with your life. And I think everyone needs to. It's like insane.
yeah, I mean, we can do a whole episode probably about our stance on it. But as far as it pertains to the games of the week, like Aaron Rodgers is playing outstanding football. He's the number one. We both probably have him as our MVP this year. I mean, you'd be an idiot not to.